In the quiet town of Bethany Hill, between dusty roads and tall mango trees, there was a school that parents were very proud of. It was called Living Word Academy. It was a Christian private school known for neat uniforms, high test scores, and strong moral rules. Every morning, children stood in rows and sang hymns as the sun came up. No child ever dared to wear dirty socks or forget to greet their teachers. And at the top of everything was one man, Mr. Elias Ayi, the headmaster. To many people, he was not just a man, he was a symbol. He was calm, wore thick glasses, and always led prayers during assembly. Parents trusted him. Teachers feared him. Students respected him. Everyone believed Mr. Elias was a man of God. He sat in the front row at church and was always called to pray in community meetings. And no one trusted him more than Mr. and Mrs. Hadley, whose shy 14-year-old daughter, Leora, had just moved up to JSS 3. Leora loved school. She always studied hard, and her Bible was full of notes and colorful highlights. She sang softly in the choir and rarely spoke, but her smile made her mother's heart melt. She believed that if she prayed and worked hard, her life would be better than her parents, who were simple traders. One Tuesday afternoon, a prefect came to Leora. "The headmaster wants to see you," she whispered. "Me?" Leora asked, surprised. "Yes," he said now. Leora fixed her uniform, smoothed her hair, and walked nervously toward his office. She had never been inside before. The curtains were always drawn. She knocked. "Come in, Leora," Mr. Elias said gently. Leora sat stiffly, hands on her lap, knees pressed together. He smiled too kindly. "You're a bright girl, Leora. Quiet, God-fearing. Just the kind of girl the devil tries to spoil," he said. He took a Bible from his drawer, read a verse about obedience, and prayed over her. Then he began asking questions. "Do boys talk to you in school? Have you ever done anything impure? Do you know what it means that your body is changing in God's eyes?" Leora felt embarrassed and confused. Then he stood, walked around the desk, and placed his hand on her shoulder. "Sometimes God sends a father figure to guide you, physically and spiritually," he said. He called it a spiritual inspection. He touched her hair, then her back, and then places no teacher should ever touch. Leora froze. She couldn't speak. It felt like her body wasn't even there anymore. When it was over, he handed her a packet of biscuits and whispered, "Don't tell anyone. They won't understand." Leora left the office, but something in her eyes had changed. That night, she cried quietly into her pillow. She didn't tell her mother. She didn't tell anyone. The next week, Zipporah was called to the office. Then Keturah. Then Cora, a 13-year-old day student. Cora always went straight home after school. Her mother worked for Mr. Elias's wife at her small restaurant. That Thursday morning, Mr. Elias called her out during devotion. "You, Cora, see me after break." Her friends giggled. "Maybe you're getting a prize," one said. "Or he wants to recommend you for Scripture Union," another guessed. But when Cora came out of his office 30 minutes later, she wasn't the same. She walked slowly, dragging one leg. Her face was pale. She didn't say a word. That evening at home, her mother noticed the stains first, blood on her uniform, and most painfully, in her underwear. "Cora!" her mother cried. "What happened?" The girl broke down. She shook with sobs. Finally, she whispered the words. It was Mr. Elias. Her father jumped up. "What did you say?" "He told me to sit down. He locked the door. He said he needed to check me. He said, 'God.'" Before she could finish, her mother slapped her. "Shut up." Her father shouted too. "Don't ever say that again. Mr. Elias is a godly man. That is the devil talking." They rushed her to the small private hospital at the edge of town. After the exam, the nurse looked at them sadly. "This child has been violated," she said softly. But even with proof, her parents refused to believe Mr. Elias could be guilty. "Maybe it was another student," they said. "Maybe she's hiding something. Mr. Elias cannot do such evil." Cora didn't argue. She just sat on the hospital bed, silent, small, and broken. And still, the people of Bethany Hill praised Mr. Elias. "He is raising those girls well," one church elder said. "Such discipline, such humility." Meanwhile, Leora grew quieter each day. She still came to class, still answered questions, but something in her had dimmed. She stopped staying behind for choir practice. She no longer laughed with her friends. Her once bright eyes now carried a heavy sadness no child should ever bear. Her mother, Abigail, noticed the change. "You've been studying too much, Leora. Rest a little," she said. But Leora wasn't tired from books. She was tired of fear. Every time she passed the headmaster's office, her heart raced. She couldn't look at him during morning assembly. When Mr. Elias spoke about purity or obedience during morning devotion, Leora wanted to scream. But she stayed silent. Who would believe her? How could she accuse a man like Mr. Elias Ajayi, someone even her own parents respected? Still, the pain inside her kept growing until one day she could not carry it alone anymore. During computer studies, she slipped a small folded note onto the desk of Auntie Ngozi, the school secretary, as she passed by. Ngozi glanced at Leora's eyes, dark, swollen with tears that had not fallen. Something told her not to ignore it. After class, Ngozi locked her office door and opened the note. In small, shaky handwriting, it said, "Auntie Ngozi, please don't ignore this. He is doing things in his office. Not just to me." Her heart skipped. She read the note again and again, her hands trembling. For a long moment, Ngozi sat frozen in her chair. Mr. Elias was her boss. He had interviewed her when she joined Living Word Academy 8 years ago. He always quoted scriptures in staff meetings. He always said, "We must be guardians of these children." Could it all have been a lie? She folded the note and placed it carefully in her drawer. She whispered to herself, "Lord, if this is what I think it is, help me to do the right thing." That evening, Ngozi went to the girls' dormitory. She asked the matron if she could speak with Leora in private. In the quiet garden corner, far from listening ears, she held Leora's hand and said softly, "Tell me everything from the beginning. Don't be afraid." At first Leora shook her head, but then she saw the kindness in Auntie Ngozi's eyes, the gentleness that reminded her of her mother before fear entered their home. So Leora spoke. She cried as she told her story, her voice breaking. Some parts she couldn't say, but Ngozi listened even to the silences. By the end, Ngozi's blouse was soaked with the girls' tears. That night, Ngozi could not sleep. She lay on her thin mattress in the school quarters, staring at the ceiling fan spinning slowly above her. What she had heard was not just wrong, it was evil. And worst of all, Leora was not the only one. The next morning, Ngozi came to school earlier than usual. She walked past the gates, past the chapel, straight into her office. She opened her drawer and read Leora's note again. Then she tore a blank sheet of paper and began to write a list. Leora, Zipporah, Keturah, Cora. These were the girls she had seen going into Mr. Elias's office in the last few weeks. She didn't know how many others. But one thing was clear. If Leora's story was true, this was not just a school matter. It was a crime. And if she gave it to the wrong person, it would disappear before anything could be done. So Ngozi began carefully. During lunch breaks, she called the girls one by one. Each time she sat across from them, looked into their eyes, and asked gently, "Did Mr. Elias ever make you uncomfortable?" At first, the girls denied it. They shook their heads, looked away. But Ngozi was patient. She didn't force them. She simply made them feel safe. Slowly, the teen Ngozi began to break through. Zipporah started crying before she could even answer. Keturah confessed in whispers. By the end of that week, Ngozi had spoken with 6 girls. 6 different stories. One terrifying pattern. And the same fear in every voice. "No one will believe me." Mr. Elias had built such a strong wall of respect around himself that even his victims felt guilty. It made Ngozi feel sick. She wanted to shout, but she stayed calm. She knew she needed proof, not only stories. She made a plan. She gave each girl a small diary. She told them, "Write down everything. The day, the time, what he said, where he touched you. Don't leave anything out." One night, when everyone was asleep, Ngozi sneaked into the ICT lab. Using her office password, she checked the staff surveillance logs. Most of the cameras were broken, dead batteries, faulty wires. But one small hallway camera had a short recording from 3 weeks earlier. It showed Leora entering the headmaster's office at 3:41 p.m. She did not come out until 5:12 p.m. Ngozi took a screenshot and saved it. It was not foolproof, but it was something. She searched more and found other clips. By Sunday, she had gathered a full envelope of evidence. Notes, screenshots, testimonies. The question was no longer if she should report it. The question was who she could trust. The headmaster was respected, loved, powerful. She was only the secretary. If she made the wrong move, she could lose her job, her home, even her safety. Monday morning came with heavy gray clouds. As if the heavens knew what was about to happen. Ngozi dressed differently that day. She wore her neatest blue blouse, combed her hair carefully, and slipped the envelope of evidence into her brown handbag. She did not eat breakfast. Her stomach was tight with fear. She had prayed all night. Lord, I don't know what will happen today, but give me courage. Let the teen Ngozi come out. At 7:45 a.m., she walked into the school compound and went straight to the staff room. She waited. Soon Mr. Elias arrived, calm, smiling, holding his Bible and his flask of hot tea. He greeted everyone warmly. Good morning, God bless you. Then he walked into his office, humming softly. 10 minutes later, Ngozi slipped out quietly and headed toward the admin block. Ngozi went straight to Mrs. Ezen, a strict inspector from the state's Ministry of Education. She had visited the school once before during a sanitation check, and Ngozi remembered how serious she was about children's safety. Good morning, madam, Ngozi said as she stepped into her office. Mrs. Ezen looked up. Ah, Secretary Ngozi, what brings you here so early? Ngozi sat down, placed the envelope on her desk, and said slowly, Ma, I have something very serious to report. It's about Headmaster Elias. The woman leaned forward, her eyes narrowing. Ngozi opened the envelope and began to explain. One by one, she laid out the testimonies, the diary notes, the screenshots, the small piece of camera footage. When Ngozi finished, Mrs. Ezen leaned back in shock. Are you sure about all this? I didn't want to believe it either, Ngozi answered softly. Mrs. Ezen picked up her phone. Within minutes, she had called a team from the ministry and a child protection officer from the police. We are coming to the school today, she said firmly. Keep this quiet. He must not suspect anything. Ngozi nodded. Her hands were shaking, but her heart felt calm. The process had begun. By noon, 3 government cars rolled into Living Word Academy. No sirens, no noise. Only quiet uniforms and serious faces. Mr. Elias was called to the main office. Ngozi watched from a window as he entered, smiling as usual, until he noticed the badges. His face changed. The atmosphere in the school grew heavy. Teachers whispered. Students looked around, confused. Mr. Elias was escorted back to his office, where the officials began questioning him. That same afternoon, 4 of the girls, including Leora and Zipporah, were taken to a safe room. Female officers listened carefully as they told their stories. For the first time, they were truly believed. At 5:10 p.m., Mr. Elias Ajayi was quietly taken out of the compound. He said nothing. As he stepped into the black vehicle, he looked up and saw Ngozi watching from the corridor. Their eyes met. This time, she did not look away. That evening, the entire staff was gathered. Parents were informed. The school board was shaken. A temporary head teacher was quickly appointed. News spread like wildfire. Headmaster Elias Ajayi arrested. Whispers filled the school. Students exchanged nervous glances. Parents demanded answers. Ngozi found herself at the center of it all. Some praised her courage. Others accused her. She destroyed his name. She just wants attention. No, she did what no one else had the courage to do. Ngozi didn't back down. She told the girls, "You're not just victims. You're survivors." The courtroom was packed. Elias sat stiffly, Bible in hand, as if nothing had happened. His lawyer argued loudly. Ngozi spoke calmly. She shared what she saw, what she heard, and what the girls had told her. The judge listened closely. Some of the girls testified too. Their voices shook, but their words were strong. The teen Ngozi poured out like water from a dam that had been sealed too long. One girl broke down and cried, saying, "He told me I would go to hell if I told anyone." The lawyer tried to attack Ngozi's character. "Are you sure this isn't revenge?" Ngozi answered quietly. People stay silent because they're afraid, but silence protects no one. On the final day, the judge read the verdict. Guilty. Elias was sentenced to 15 years in prison. Gasps filled the courtroom. Some people cried. Others clapped softly. Ngozi did not cry. She simply closed her eyes and whispered, "Thank you, Lord." Months later, Ngozi was invited to join the state task force on school safety. She didn't want fame. She only wanted peace. And the girls Leora, Zipporah, Keturah, Cora, and others walked taller. They laughed more. They knew someone had fought for them. All because one woman refused to stay silent. All because Ngozi said, "Enough." Don't forget to share this story with your friends and family. Give it a thumbs up and subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. Until next time, bye-bye.